Yeah, I think that things are looking good for Carolina right now. Sam Darnold's clear-cut number one target, top 10 all time among the 300 players sampled since 2014.
Look at the release.
There's your separation.
Great route.
Stutter and go. Gets by clean.
That is unbelievable.
Maybe the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Developed by Stanford engineers, OddsJam can identify odds that make you a winner every single time. Now you're asking yourself, okay, now how do they do this? OddsJam uses real-time data to spot discrepancies between different sports books to help users place risk-free bets. It's called arbitrage. Here's an example. Last week, the run line in a Rangers game was 2.5. If you bet both the over and the under at different sites that have different odds, it doesn't matter what the results are. If you place the right mathematical bet, you make money. Simple as that. Arbitrage requires no knowledge of sports. It's great, but it's not just arbitrage. If you want to shop for the best odds, OddsJam can do that too. For example, let's say you love the Packers money line. OddsJam will help you find the best odds for the most profitable returns. OddsJam has other tools and calculators too to help you make some of the best bets possible. Go check them out. Go check them out right now. Go to oddsjam.com. Well, you know, I did want, while we're talking about Carolina, why don't we talk about DJ Moore, who I think you're extremely, extremely high on, and obviously he had a fantastic week too.
Yeah, he had a fantastic week too. I think when you look at this team right now, and DJ Moore coming, one of the most under the radar, like low key developments in reception perception last year was that DJ Moore had clearly developed into a high end starting X receiver. You know, this was a guy in reception perception as a rookie who was like a sub 15th percentile separator versus man and press coverage, you know, not a refined, nuanced route runner. This past year, we saw him clear the 70th percentile in success rate versus man and press, all while playing that deep threat role for Carolina last year, which is what we were not really expecting that. This year, we've seen him really take, I think, that leap to now they're using him more closer to the line of scrimmage as Sam Darnold's clear-cut number one target. Right now, he leads the team in terms of the receivers and even more targets than Christian McCaffrey. 19 targets right now for DJ Moore, and he's averaging just 9.4 air yards per target, which is huge. We've seen Robby Anderson go back to that deep threat role, 21 air yards per target for Robby Anderson, but Anderson only has 9 targets through the first 2 games. Like, there's been a clear, I don't know if it's going to be that drastic the entire year, but there's been a clear separation in terms of who's the number one guy on this team, and it's been DJ Moore. And I think all of the signs were there for DJ Moore coming into the year that, oh, this was a guy who, you know, I said this in his rookie year, he was one of the best after catch receivers in the NFL. His second year, he showed in reception perception, he was one of the best contested catch receivers in the NFL. His 2019 contested catch rate is still top 10 all time among the 300 players sampled since 2014. Last year in 2020, he showed us he was developing into not just a good short area slant and dig route runner like he'd been before, but like he was running the nines well, the posts well, the corner routes.
Right.
Like he was getting separation across the route tree. Now, in this year, I think this is his like full field breakout to potentially being like a top 12, top 15 real life NFL receiver.
Wow.
Like I think we're gonna, by the end of the year, if he keeps this up, I think we're gonna consider him to be like a true number one receiver in all levels, because he basically checks every box at this point.
His usage, even though his lineup data is about the same, so about 80% outside, 20% inside, it's about the same as it was last year. What the routes that he is running from those locations on the field is different. And I don't have that data like in front of me, like, oh, is he running this many more slants or whatever it is? But clearly the way they are targeting him is a little bit different. And the routes that he is running, or at least the percentage of routes that he is running, is different this year than last year. And it's giving him some more layup throws, as you call them, while also still giving him some of those high leverage down the field targets that you need to be a top 10 fantasy wide receiver and top 10, considered to be a top 10 real life receiver. You need to get those downfield targets too. So, man, it is very, very interesting. I think to what we are seeing there in Carolina.
His touchdown last week came on a slant route. So I mean, yeah, they're getting him in, and that's what we've needed to see out of DJ Moore too, in terms of like him taking that next step as well. It's like, are they going to use him in the scoring area? He did draw a red zone target, obviously. Like this is good stuff for DJ Moore. And again, most encouraging of all is that they're getting him those after the catch looks too, because that's what he's so good at. That's really his fulfilled skill set. So I'm going to be pretty tempted to rank him as a top 10 receiver heading into this matchup with Houston, because I still think Houston's defense is perfectly beatable. He's a guy that, we're going to talk buy lows a little bit later. I would poke around DJ Moore right now, because I don't think people have fully caught up to that this guy's going to have a pretty monster season, but I think that's on the table right now for DJ Moore because of just the team overall looks good, and the quarterback is playing well.